And welcome to Hannity. We begin with a Fox News alert. Tonight, one person is emerging as the clear winner from this week's Democratic debates. That would be President Trump. Now, the radical socialist on stage did not deliver. Virtually no one was impressed with anyone. The president called the debate, quote, boring. Bill Maher tweeted, not a promising start. Even Congresswoman, well, the real leader of the 2020 candidates in the House of Representatives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, chiming in, comparing it to a high school classroom filled with kids who didn't do their homework, didn't read the book. In a moment, we'll break down all the radical positions. You get to hear it yourself, ill-informed platforms, far-left fantasies that would never happen. All right. Also, my staff, behind my back, sent our own Lawrence Jones to the debate in Miami, to see what Democrats think about me. Now, I was just told about this moments ago. Can hardly wait. Take a look.
Sean, not a fan.
Now, we're going to play the full package coming up. I'm told it's going to be quite entertaining. But first, we turn to one of the biggest losers from last night's debate. That would be NBC News. They experienced, well, some technical difficulties at the height of the debate. Can happen to anybody. Take a look.
I think we had a little mic issue in the back.
Control room, we've got contrary
We have the, I think
audio.
we heard, yeah, we have the audience audio. All right. Is there a role for the federal government in order to play in order to get these guns off the streets?
Someone's got my binder.
What's happening?
We are hearing our colleagues' audio. If the control room could turn off the mics. Yeah, if the control room could turn off the mics of our previous moderators, we will.
I think it's the prior moderator.
You know, we prepared for everything.
Guess what, guys?
We did not prepare for this.
We are going to take a quick break. We're going to get this technical situation fixed. We will be right back.
Look, technical glitches, they do happen. Remember that once we had an anchor, it was called going to the bathroom and flushing the toilet. That was released on tape. That happens. Now, the real embarrassment is that NBC allowed the conspiracy theorist, the biggest one in the country, to moderate the debate. The so-called news network, they put Rachel Maddow right there front and center. Again, the single biggest conspiracy theorist in the country. We're going to go over a lot of these conspiracies. Just a quick list. She once described herself as left of Mao. And for 3 years, she has been hysterically, breathlessly, like the rest of the media, reporting an actual hoax. And she told her viewers President Trump was a Russian op, suggesting Rex Tillerson, a Russian plant, saying Vladimir Putin could turn off the power in Fargo, North Dakota, whenever he wanted. Comparing Trump's children, so nice, liberal kindness, Uday and Hussein, Saddam Hussein's kids. Despite her rampant abuse of bias, embarrassing conspiracy theories, hatred, all things Donald Trump, NBC News allowed her to be the moderator. Camille, Rush, Levin, how about O'Reilly? How about all four of us? We'll do the next debate. Now, that's because NBC News, they're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in integrity or actual journalism. Instead, NBC News, Tom Brokaw, are you watching? Didn't you build up this brand? TV channel that works in unison with everything Democratic Party, everything socialist, everything to smear, slander, besmirch President Trump every second, every minute, every hour of every day. And true to form, Rachel Maddow, her sidekick, Chucky Todd, they didn't ask tough questions. We never expected that. Instead, they urged their Democratic friends on the stage indulge their far-left conspiracy theories. Take a look.
We're here in Miami, which is already experiencing serious flooding on sunny days as a result of sea level rise. Parts of Miami Beach and the Keys could be underwater in our lifetimes. Does your plan save Miami? Nancy Pelosi is saying that impeachment will not be pursued in the House. It raises the prospect, and the Mueller report raises the prospect, that President Trump could be prosecuted for some of those potential crimes down the line. No U.S. president has ever been prosecuted for crimes after leaving office. Do you believe that President Trump could or should be the first?
All right. Anyway, one news critic actually called Rachel Maddow's performance a, quote, loss for journalism. But we've been telling you since 2007 and 2008, journalism's dead, buried for many years. It's clear NBC so-called news, conspiracy theory TV, they're making no attempt to ever revive that. Still, last night's debate did confirm what we have also been telling you for some time. Moderates in the Democratic Party, Well, they're extinct. They no longer exist. There are no more Joe Lieberman, Scoop Jacksons, the radical socialists. They have completely and totally taken over. And last night, they were just obsessed with vilifying private enterprise. In other words, that which has created the greatest standard of living in the industrialized world, that has advanced the human condition more than any governmental system. Capitalism works, and we share it with others. Take a look.
Who is this economy really working for? It's doing great for a thinner and thinner slice at the top. We need to make structural change in our government, in our economy, and in our country.
Would you support a 70% individual marginal tax rate? Yes, no, or pass?
I would support a tax rate and a tax code that is fair to everyone. Tax capital
70%?
At the same rate that you tax ordinary income. Take that corporate tax rate up to 28%.
I think we have a serious problem in our country with corporate consolidation. And you see the evidence of that in how dignity is being stripped from labor.
We're supposed to be for a 70% tax rate on the wealthy. We are supposed to break up big corporations when they're not serving our democracy. There's plenty of money in this country. It's just in the wrong hands.
I didn't know who half these people were, but make no mistake, Democrats, yeah, they want a 70% top marginal tax rate for individuals and a 90% top corporate tax rate, and then a wealth tax, and then a death tax. Wow, who's going to want to build business? You wonder why New York, New Jersey, let's say Illinois, California are losing population? Yeah, because of what they proposed last night. Where are we going to go next? But there are not enough, by the way, if you look at it, billionaires and millionaires in the world to pay for this grandiose socialist vision of theirs. Let's see, free universal basic income, retirement, early education, child education, universal child care, paid leave, family leave, guaranteed vacation, free housing, and, of course, free universal health care. But you can't pick your doctor, your plan, and save money. That didn't work out. As a matter of fact, there'll be no choices. We all in one system, the government system.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? Just a show of hands to start off with.
So, yes, I'm with Bernie on Medicare for all. There are a lot of politicians who say, oh, it's just not possible. We just can't do it. It's have a lot of political reasons for this. What they're really telling you is they just won't fight for it.
Would you replace private insurance?
No, I think that choice is fundamental to our ability to get everybody cared for.
Private insurance is not working for tens of millions of Americans. When you talk about the co-pays, the deductibles, the premiums, the out-of-pocket expenses, it's not working.
That's right. So for those for whom it's not working.
Now, if Elizabeth Warren gets elected, her first order of business would be to ban private insurance. That's right. If you're watching at home and you like your insurance, you like your doctor, too bad, because if elected, Elizabeth Warren will be making and allowing the government to make all your health care decisions. And you thought Obamacare was bad? How many lost? Millions lost their doctors, millions lost their plans. Everyone paid a ton more, in spite of the promises. Given Warren's track record of faking her ethnicity, I don't think that she has the best judgment. But, of course, the true litmus test in the Democratic Party, well, that's the issue of abortion and open borders and everything else. Some cases, they're outright fanticide they're endorsing. Last night, the party of partial. Some cases, yes, during and even post-birth abortion. Yeah, they showed their true colors. Take a look.
I don't believe only in reproductive freedom. I believe in reproductive justice. And, you know, what that means is that just because a woman, or let's also not forget someone in the trans community, a trans female, is poor, doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to exercise that right to choose.
Senator Warren, would you put limits on any limits on abortion?
I would make certain that every woman has access to the full range of reproductive health care services. We now have an America where most people support Roe versus Wade. We need to make that federal law.
Now, just to keep track, if you're at home, to add it all up, Democratic, radical, socialist, extremists, they're promising everything free. Taxes through the roof, government-run health care, no private insurance option, no limits on abortion at all, regardless of the stage or pregnancy or survivability of the child at that point. extreme positions not based in reality and, quite frankly, in many cases scary, but there's more. One key tenet of the Democratic platform, open borders. Last night, many vilified the president and Republicans for trying to deter people from entering this country legally. And, of course, their children from making the dangerous trip through Mexico. And it wasn't long ago that President Obama, in his second term, was echoing the concerns of Republicans, sometimes even sounding like Trump. Take a look.
Our message absolutely is don't send your children unaccompanied on trains or through a bunch of smugglers. We don't even know how many of these kids don't make it and may have been waylaid into sex trafficking or killed because they fell off a train. We have no way of tracking that. So that is our direct message to the families in Central America. Do not send your children to the borders. If they do make it, they'll get sent back. More importantly, they may not make it.
Now, you might remember the Democrats expressed no outrage over those comments. In fact, there was little outrage over the mass deportations under the Obama administration. Yeah, and we had those pictures that we showed you. The person that fixed it was Donald Trump. Remember the conditions under Obama, migrant holding facilities, all under Obama. No anger when the Obama administration put immigrant children in cages. And fake moral outrage is the Democratic Party's favorite political weapon. We saw it over Russia and the collusion hoax. They called Trump a Russianaut, but even refused to acknowledge the role that Hillary Clinton's dirty, bought and paid for Russian dossier played in the election. Played in the whole spying scandal of an opposition party candidate. And then, of course, a president-elect and a president. We saw it over the topic of obstruction of justice. They didn't care about what she did to those 33,000 subpoenaed emails. Democrats are now obsessed about phantom obstruction charges against the president with no underlying crime. And yet, when Hillary Clinton, bleach pit, acid wash, delete 33,000 emails, busting devices, hammers, removing SIM cards, not a peep from either the media mob or the Democratic Party. We see it on issues of racism and sexual assault. Don't forget the Democratic lieutenant governor and governor of Virginia. Yeah, they're still both in office. We see it on climate change. Last night, 4 of the candidates on stage said that climate change was the biggest threat to our nation. One said Donald Trump. And I assume they all flew in a plane to last night's debate. I highly doubt that they took a Prius from the airport either. But if the Democratic Party's moral compass, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, gets her way, yeah, we're going to ban airplanes and cows and the combustion engine, and gas and oil, the lifeblood of our economy, are absolutely gone. You get the picture. Now, Ocasio-Cortez weighing in on the Democratic primary, and she's not happy with the current frontrunner. In fact, Ocasio-Cortez just trashed sleepy, creepy, crazy Uncle Joe Biden in an interview with Vogue, saying that the 76-year-old former VP would depress turnout and is not a pragmatic choice. I actually agree with her for once. Anyway, if Joe Biden's small, sad kickoff rally is any indication, voters are not excited. I don't see any excitement for any of these candidates.